Manchester United early this month were reported to have started preliminary talks to bring Haidara to Manchester United from RB Leipzig. This was followed on by reports from a number of outlets from Germany that Ralf Rangnick had agreed a verbal deal with RB Leipzig over a price. This has been followed up today with some serious reports from one of Germany's leading publications that Haidara is demanding or asking or requesting, whichever phrase you want to use, a move this month to Manchester United. The one remaining problem for Man United fans is the fact that the board at the moment seem reluctant to sanction a deal for Ralf Rangnick because it may not fit the plans of the new manager coming in. We're going to delve into that in a little bit more detail for you, plus talk about the big news again circulating today about Ronaldo and he's sulking at Manchester United. Smash that like and share button. Let's go, people. Welcome back to the terrace today. I appreciate you all being here. I appreciate all the like buttons being smashed. I appreciate all the new subscribers. And of course, our army of fans that have been here for a long, long time. All our subscribers, our members, and our super chatters. I cannot thank you enough for all the supports. Remember, 6 p.m. tonight, the Bet Victor Top 6 show is back, previewing the weekend's games, looking ahead at some transfer stories and odds. And of course, the big one, Chelsea versus Tottenham. We're going to be going all through that at 6 p.m. So about 5 hours time, make sure you are here. But some interesting news circulating today in relation to Haidara to Man United. And it's always important with this news to kind of look at it chronologically, really. So there was lots of talk over December that Man United were interested in the deal that could be done. But on the 15th, 16th of January, it was reported first and foremost out of Germany that Ralf Rangnick had agreed a fee, verbally agreed a fee. So obviously spoke to old colleagues, people he knows at RB Leipzig, what would be acceptable. And the fee is around about 45 to 46 million pounds. Now, this doesn't mean that an official bid has been made or that the offer has been officially accepted, because it was a discussion between Ralf and his former employers. At the same time, what we know is that Haidara wants to join and play for Man United. That has been reaffirmed today via Sport 1, one of the biggest German sports publications in the world, verified. They have put out the news today that Haidara wants to move to Man United this month. You couple that in with what Jonathan Schrager said again on the 16th of January, that Man United had started preliminary talks at the possibility of making a move. This deal is certainly on and active. What I think is really interesting is the simple fact that when you look at, and the bit of news that's kind of forgotten and not really being discussed within this, is Man United's board's almost reluctancy in many ways to sanction this deal for Ralf Rangnick, to give Ralf Rangnick the player that he wants, the cost that he wants, because it may not fit with the new manager's system. That's a big concern for me. Not because we won't get a midfield player now. That's a massive concern. But what's even bigger, and which should be in the bigger picture for United fans, is why are we employing the consultant to help us run the club, to create a philosophy for the club, but that's going to be any different from the new manager we employ? How Ralph's looking to help us run this club, the player profiles, the systems, the structure, the culture, should be echoed by the new head coach and manager that comes into the football club. That's the only element of this deal that I have a concern over. The rest of it's all pretty normal. January deals are hard to get done. Of course, he's away at AFCON at the moment, I understand. So, he's not actually playing. I'm not too sure if his nation's still in, because I haven't really kept up with the tournament myself personally. But at the end of the day, this deal appears to be on and active. It's whether or not Man United give it the green light. It feels like put the bid in and it's done. Put the bid in and it is done. It is dusted and it is over the line. And I think from my point of view, as far as I'm concerned, we have to go out and get this done. And a part of the reports that we've also seen, and here is just a report, as you can see here, pushed out by MUFC MBD via Sport One, as you can see on the screen. They have put that news out yesterday evening, fairly late. That came out now that he wants to move to United this month. Remember, we have until the 3rd of Feb, so he can still move. But we all get the point they're saying here. January is generally the window. So as you can see, they are very much. They're very much looking to go out there and get this deal done. And, well, Haidara's people want to get this deal done, according to this report coming out of Germany. What I also read this morning was very, very interesting to me as well. The number of midfielders Man United seem to have on their list, and there was lots of talk over the course of the week about reports that Rangnick has sent into the board, reports that he's given them to say who is good enough and who isn't good enough, but also recommendations for players moving forward. And one thing that really stands out is the number of midfield players that Ralf would like to bring into Manchester United, or he believes are good enough. The likes of Babouka Kamara, Dennis Zakaria. Of course, both of those players have been heavily linked in this month as well, especially Dennis Zakaria. There was a lot of talks about that advancing and everything else. Ruben Neves is on the list, with Declan Rice still remaining the number one choice, but Declan Rice being so difficult because his primary choice is Chelsea, and on top of his primary choice being Chelsea, he's going to cost a colossal amount of money, and there may be more mileage. Declan Rice is going to cost you 2 of those players. So you might be able to sign Haidara and Ruben Neves. That may be seen by Man United as better value than just Declan Rice. I certainly think it would, with Pogba almost certain to leave, Matic at the end of his end of his career at the elite level now. You're then left with Fred and McTominay. You throw in Ruben Neves and Haidara, or Ruben Neves and Dennis Zakaria into that team, and you suddenly have a whole new midfield that will excite the Manchester United fans. So it's certainly an interesting deal to see what happens. This all kind of coincides as well with Jesse Lingard being linked with a move away. And if Lingard gets that move away, if Lingard can get himself away from, if he can get himself away from Manchester United, opens up the roster. If Anthony Martial was to leave, then I would grow a little bit more confident that Man United may be able to get this over the line this month. But we'll see what happens with that. I want your views and I want your opinions. Make sure that like button is being smashed for us right now, as we said at the top of the video. Get your comments in as well. Do you see this deal or any midfield deal happening for Manchester United? I really want to know. Jazzy here says Tchouaméni over Rice is what Jazzy says. Where's Zakaria going, Terry? Why don't United offer the 6 mil? In my opinion, with Zakaria, it's a really good question. In my opinion, I believe Man United have had the talks. I believe Manchester United have spoke to Mönchengladbach, spoke to the agent. I don't think the player's made a decision on where he wants to go. And for me, it's a case of United are not going to push it further until he commits to coming here. One of the reasons being Liverpool looking at him. And the embarrassment for Manchester United if they put out a story, if they put out a kind of motion that they want him, they make it official, they put the bid in, they offer the contract officially through the official channels, and it all goes wrong, it's a PR disaster. That's why I think they've held off. Equally, you might find Haidara and Ruben Neves are higher up the pecking order. And Man United could also be thinking, well, if we get Zakaria, and then the Haidara deal presents itself, we've kind of, we've been a little bit premature. So there is almost a waiting game going on and spinning a number of plates at the same time. So there's a few things that could be at play as to why that deal hasn't progressed further. And of course, as fans, we all have our preferences, but I'm just going to trust Ralf on this because we know how good he is. We know how good Ralf is in terms of spotting profiles of players, getting the right quality in. We just know it. We just know it. So, I've got a lot of faith in him in relation to that. Terry, can you tweet tomorrow again that Fred needs to be subbed off? Every time you do, he makes an assist. He got an assist. I don't think did I tweet that he had to come off the other day? I don't think I did. I would just rather him play well. That would be my suggestion, would be for him to play well. Terry Flewers, you talk too much. Be a bit weird if I did a stream and didn't talk. That'd be strange, I think. I think that'd be strange, to be honest with you. Morning, Chad. Hope you're well, my friend. I'm very good. Hello to Hassan over there on our Twitch page. Thank you very much for tuning in. I keep saying this morning. It is this afternoon. Re-sign Lord Fellaini. Can you imagine? Can you? I wonder if we did a poll. Who would you prefer in central midfield, McTominay or Fellaini? I get a feeling now a lot of United fans would vote Fellaini in, because United fans have got this weird habit of rewriting history. The worst fan base in the world for it, of this player's dead and he's the guy that took our club back, or this manager needs sacking. 2 years later, they're like, oh, I wish he was back. The Silent Terrace. Yeah, we should do the show, The Silent Terrace. Where Terry Flewers doesn't talk about any of the subjects that are being discussed across social media in that particular day. That'd be hilarious, wouldn't it? I'd actually think that'd be quite a fun show, to be honest. I think it would. I think it'd be a really fun show to host and be on. What's it say here? There we go. Hang on. Right. So that's that. I also want to talk a bit about Ronaldo today as well. The Ronaldo situation is a mad one to me. So we saw the clip of him and Ralph having a bit of a chat, as I say it were. I thought, okay, fair enough. You know, normal. I've seen that happen a million and one times. I've seen that type of situation happen on a football pitch. Didn't matter to me, didn't bother me. I don't care. Just one of them things. A lot of people made a big hullabaloo about the sulking. Like, Ronaldo's been sulking since I've seen him play. Since he was 17 years of age, this man sulks when he doesn't get what he wants. Sometimes I've seen him sulk when his team have scored, but he weren't the goal scorer. It's his way. We can hardly label it at Ronaldo that it's going to be a hindrance to him when he is the greatest goal scorer in the history of football. And I don't care that people don't like him. The fact is, it's all a bullshit. He's not likable. Isn't he like the most followed man in the world on Instagram? But he's not likable. It's a nonsense. Rivals don't like him. I don't care what they say. They're subjective. They're in their feelings. Now what we get told is this: that several members of Man United's sort of the young players find it difficult to approach him, with sources suggesting that Edison Cavani, even in broken English, is more a unifying presence than Cristiano Ronaldo. I mean, you read the rest of the report, and they also spoke about how the coaches and senior figures at the club have been so impressed with him and how he's like the one and he has the right attitude and everything else. Maybe some of these young players just don't like approaching him because he's going to put them straight. You know, sit down, stop tweeting, sit down, stop messing about. Why are you smiling and happy after a draw or a defeat? Maybe it's that attitude from him. Maybe it's the high standards this man holds that these kids can't appreciate. But I read it and just thought to myself, this really is Cristiano Ronaldo's Manchester United. He is such the headline maker. You'll probably find this in most dressing rooms, in most football clubs, that some of the kids and the youngsters find it hard to approach some of the stars in the game, especially winners like Ronaldo that are never happy unless they are winning when their team is winning. But that's why people like him have some of the best goal scoring records, best trophy halls in the world of football. So I don't think it's this kind of more Ronaldo controversy. It ain't controversy. It's normal. Read any ex-Man United player's book, someone that was a prominent figure in the dressing room in Fergie's heydays. This type of behavior and attitude was normal. In every single which way, it's there. It's how it is. Ronaldo's just got, like certain players will get red cards easier than others because of reputation. Ronaldo's got a reputation of being a sulker, a moaner, slamming his teammates, being a bit arrogant. The irony in it is some players also have that, but they shield it. You don't see it. They've got a front on top that makes them look more pleasant. But 99.9% of real winners in life have that kind of attitude. I heard Thomas Tuchel speak the other day. I think he's a real winner. How he's never really happy and satisfied because he's always looking to go to that next level and next standard. Some people find that infuriating because they achieve something and they want to chill for a while. Oh, you know what? We won a trophy. We don't need to win one for a few years. Now I'm kind of content. The elite winners of the winners of the winners, the best of the best. Great film that, by the way. Never stop. So from my point of view, it's crazy. And on this same article, like I see pictures like this where he's celebrating with his teammates. And I just think to myself, they're fine. They're absolutely fine. It's just craziness. It's absolute craziness. There's a comment here that says, Terry, stop, because Ronaldo is a disgrace. Despite as old as he is, he's acting childish, and no other player in that situation would have behaved that. So you're telling me that no other player that's old, I don't know how old you can say, older than 25, has ever been frustrated about being subbed off? It happens in most games. The difference is the cameras don't pan to it. The cameras pan to it when it's Cristiano Ronaldo because it's a headline. Then all the newspapers and all the connected businesses to them get to write stories on it. Idiots like me sit on YouTube and talk about it. But it's a non-story. It's a regular occurrence. They did this to Man City when they had Mario Balotelli. Mario Balotelli was painted at being this absolute crazy, difficult figure. I don't think he was any more difficult than a player or two that are in every squad. But there was this big moment in his time at Man City where he got into a fight with a teammate at training. And it was there in the papers and it was there in the media. It was on the radio shows. Oh my God, he fights his own teammate. Only for every single ex-pro that spoke on it to go, what are you talking about? This happens every week. But it was because it was Mario Balotelli, it was a big story. If it was any other player, it would have been brushed over as boys being boys. That happens all the time. So, yeah, I completely disagree. Based on this, can we call him Karen Ronaldo? You can if you want. You can if you want. There's no doubt about it. Oh, hang on. What does this say here? Tottenham are in talks with Wolverhampton Wanderers for Adama Traore. Wolves manager Bruno here says the club's talk with Adama and they will decide the future. I'm happy with him here. Dean Jones spoke about this on Tuesday that there's a big chance of it happening this week. What we probably are going to find in the next week, he said. So from Tuesday to Tuesday, what you're probably going to find happens is this weekend's games are going to get played. The international break will then come and that will then present the opportunity for some of these deals to go through and be completed. Wolves are probably, as a football club, going, let's just get one more game over the line with him in our team. And then from there, we can kind of move on and crack on and do whatever it is that we've got to do. If you listen to the stories about Michael Jordan, you will notice that Ronaldo is no different. Neither is Tiger Woods. And if you listen to stories about all the... And the thing is with Ronaldo, you'll probably find when he's outside of training and in the work environment, he's probably a lovely guy. It just is how it is. I come from a fighting background. Now, I wasn't a world-class level fighter at full contact that was ever going to go on to achieve anything like Michael Venom Page or Conor McGregor or who else? Poirier. I was nowhere near their level, but I was in the gyms. I was training. I was in a lot of Thai boxing gyms. A lot of kickboxing gyms. Some of the best fighters I was around in that training, in the training room and in the ring were animals. In fact, killers, and they had an attitude that I thought was just amazing, brilliant, beautiful, excellent. But step outside, come around your house, meet my brother and my family or whatever. You'd be out and about a cafe or a restaurant or in a bar, nice as pie, because in that environment, they're not being competitive. And I think that certain footballers get a bad reputation based on how much of a desire. They just don't. What I like about Ronaldo's and Michael Jordan's is they don't mask their feelings with fakeness. They are just raw themselves. And I love that about them. People go, oh, Bruno and Ronaldo moan. Yeah, all players moan. Some just wait until the cameras can't see them and do it behind closed doors. I'm not about that falseness. I'm not about that. Me personally, I'm not about it. Some of you are, and that's cool. That's your way. That's what you think. That's what you feel. That's how how people want it. I don't mind that. It's your life, bruv. But yeah, for me, it ain't the one for me. Oh, someone just sent me over here about Victor Lindelof's house got broken into during the Brentford game. Absolute scumbags. Absolute scumbags for doing that. Shocking. Happens too much to these footballers when they're away and doing things. And the amount of percentage of footballers whose houses get broken into, or you've seen their families like robbed at knife point and stuff like that. Just like crazy. Absolutely crazy when you see it. Terrible. Terrible. What is this news that my brother has just sent me through here? This is true. I might cry. Alvarez to Man City. Now, this would be interesting. Now, I don't hope it happens because he looks like a really good talent. But do you know why this would be interesting? If that is true. Oh, wow. Breaking news. He's about to be sold. Transfer closing in. What we're saying here. Where could he be going, though? Is it Man City or has anybody said? Okay, breaking news here. This is from come out of South America that he's going to go to Man City. That is huge news. That is huge news. Now, look, this is amazing if this happens. Because if this was to happen, it goes back to prove the point that I was talking about only a few weeks ago. Man United had very advanced and detailed talks with the agent. But the reason why Man United weren't going to pursue it and brief the media in England that, we're in talks and we're looking at him is because his agents was essentially doing a big European tour and talking to all the clubs. And none of the British media was ever going to go out of their way to turn around and say, yeah, we're in for him, just for him to join a rival. I'm not like, this is one of those transfer rumors that I'm seeing now, and I'm like, I kind of get it. It kind of makes sense in many ways because of the way every single club has played down their conversations. We all know he's been having conversations with people. We've all known this. But nobody was, it's very reminiscent of what's going on with Zakaria. Nobody is going to commit to the Zakaria situation because if you do and then he picks a rival, it's a PR nightmare. And until fans learn to get over rejection, this is how transfers are going to be presented to us. Watch United try and hijack the deal. Again, listen, we've seen that spin before. They're saying he's about to go City. And then we'll go in and buy him. And then we'll look like heroes. Like, listen, that's also plausible. That's also plausible that headline comes out in the next few days. It really, really is. But I'm not overtly surprised to see it. I am not overtly surprised to see that. It fits in with everything I've learned about transfers since doing this. When you see a deal where it's so public from the agent that they're around and talking, and you hear agent talk. Now, the agent is generally telling an element of truth. They can exaggerate areas. The reason that all the clubs, no talks, is because they're all scared of being rejected. I asked the journalist that the other day, and he kind of started laughing. I was like, why are you laughing? He went, it is true, but we don't obviously push that story out as journalists and newspapers because we'll lose contact with the club. And I'm like, see, this is a problem. Fans are getting lied to. What does it mean for Haaland? A few of you are saying, listen, they might go and sign both. We have no idea how good this young Julian lad is going to be. But listen, if he ends up going there, then mad. Then great. I'm not going to change my tune. He's a great talent by what I could see. And listen, if they end up signing him, that is going to be a seriously good piece of business. That could be a seriously, seriously good piece of business for Manchester City. And they can still sign Haaland as well. There's no doubt about it. Ferran Torres replacement, exactly. Well, there we go. As we say, most transfers make sense when you break them down. Most of them do. Someone just DM me here, man. Locks Knox says, Terry, you talk too much. Imagine someone tuning in to hear you talk and saying you talk too much. And then I get criticized when I let people have an opinion and people don't like the opinion. It's crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy to me. It really, really is. I just find it brilliant. I find it absolutely brilliant. I really, really do. Who wants to come on and have a little chit chat? Terry, have Liverpool found their wallet yet? No, bro. That wallet is lost. You got more chance of finding Jimmy Hoffa's body than Liverpool Football Club spending big money this month. That's how it appears. It may change. But we'll see what happens. I was talking to my dad about this the other day, and my dad was saying to me, "You need to change the way you do your transfer talk." I was like, "What are you saying, Dad?" He said, "Oh, he goes, because you speak real, but the transfer window is just like all smoke and mirrors and PR stunts and all this sort of stuff." And he went, "You just need to like talk in the same language, because the mainstream's talking one way, you're talking the other, and people are going to reject it." And I'm like, "Dad, I can't do that. I have to speak about things how I see them." Do you know what I mean? Because what you'll now get, if Julian Alvarez goes to City and Zachariah goes to Liverpool, you'll get City press and Liverpool press go, United were in from, they were rejected, and you'll get United press and fans along with it reject the notion we never officially bid, and that's what it's about. And everybody protects themselves from that or give themselves an out. It's hilarious. I can't believe fans, and not the football terrorist community, because you're here. I can't believe football fans actually fall for it. I can't. I legitimately can't believe they fall for it. I don't think you do fall for it, though. I don't think people do fall for it. I think it makes them feel better. Makes them feel better. I don't really believe it, but like, it makes me feel better. I think that's what it really is. It's like medicine. It's like medicine, really. But we will see. We will see. We will see what happens. Thank you for saying that I'm a legend. I don't consider myself a legend, but thank you very, very much indeed. Thank you very, very much indeed to have your say. Terry writes I do write the headlines. I do write them. I control all the journalists. Terry, PSG want Ndombele, but want to do a player exchange. Do you think PSG are willing to let who? I don't know who they're willing to let. They're not going to willing to let go of any. Do you know who would be good for Spurs right now? Genie Wijnaldum. I know he's got a little injury for 3 or 4 weeks. Bring in Genie Wijnaldum. Conte likes a workhorse. He's a workhorse with some techers. Genie's a good signing. Herrera would be a good signing. I don't know how old is Herrera now. Maybe a bit too old. They're good. I think what they need is a bit more established. They need someone who's there or thereabouts. Maybe they can look at a centre-back who's better than Dyer. Who else? Mbappe. No, I'm joking. He's no content at the end. But yeah, someone like that. I think they need a midfield player, really. Like for like would be good in relation to that. Yeah, or Mbappe. Yeah, exactly. Terry, don't you want Genie? No, he played for Liverpool, so no, I don't want him. That's with respect. I don't want any ex-Liverpool or City player at Man United. None. I know it's like petty, but I've got standards. Do you know what I mean? The way I look at it is this. Me and my big brother, all my brothers, but me and my big brother are best friends. We have a rule. We will never hold hands, kiss, dance, date, go out, marry a girl that either one of us has even fancied before. My brother, give an example. When I was younger, I had a little bit of this lady. Like we had a little bit of a smooch at a club, and we saw each other for a few weeks, just like casual thing, right? About 4 months later, I was at home chilling. We're still living with my parents. How long ago it was now? My brother comes home. He's like, "Oh, bruv." I was like, "All right, mate." He's like, "Oh, so and so." I nearly said her name. So and so's asked me out. And she was like, lovely girl. Everyone, lots of people thought she was fit and everything. And he's like, young ladies, like, "Oh, mate, she's fit." I'm like, "Bruv." I said, "This happened a few months back." And I think he was a bit gutted, but he's like, "Oh, thanks for telling me." And I'm like, "Mate, I got to, because can't be sharing." I'm like that way with players. I'm that way with players. There's a. I'm not gonna say it's not a disrespect. It's like not like a tarnish thing. It's just icky for me. It's icky. I'd never trust them. It's all a bit weird. Do you know what I mean? All a bit strange. Yeah. But me and my brother were like, it happened once though. We were at a party. I remember this. This is actually really sad, actually. Well, it's not sad. Like, wait, it's sad. The girl that it was, she passed away now. She passed away a few years ago of cervical cancer. God rest her soul. Like, lovely, like, good friend. But I was in the kitchen chilling, chatting to her, and I think we kissed. I don't know how old I was. I must have been like 17. Kissed. My brother was by the decks because our friend was DJing at his party. And then about 2 hours later, I had been chilling a bit in the garden, whatever, with my boys and that. Came back in. I saw my brother like behind the DJ bit, like kissing her. And I was like, shit. He kind of finished and she went up there, whatever it was she was doing. I was like, bro, what are you doing? I went, what? I said, I've already got hold of her. And honestly, I think we left pretty sharpish. We both felt really sick. It's like, bro, it's almost, we got to this point where, right, if I'm getting with someone, I'm going to text you who it is, just in case. Do you know what I'm saying? Those were the days. This has turned dark. Not really. Terry Giggs. They weren't one of them ones, G. Weren't one of them ones. But yeah, it was a madness. But yeah, never do that. But I've got a big rule. I wouldn't hold hands with, go out with any lady who is, I actually don't go out with anyone now that knows anyone I know. So from friend groups, work colleagues, anything like that, I just don't do it. I literally, I'm really weird with it. You have to be a town or two away minimum. Like, I don't like the whole local thing. It's all weird. I've got a lot of friends like married to people they went to school with and that. I'm happy for them, but for me, it's a bit strange. I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, Terry Icardi. Right, let's get KJ on to have his say. We've got Pav backstage and many, many more. Welcome back to the show, mate. How's it going?
Oh, bring me safe, bro. He's in the background. Bring me safe.
You want safe on the show? What are you saying, safe?
Hey, what's up, man?
You're safe. What do you want, bro? What do you want from me?
KJ, I want your number, man. I want to talk to you.
You're talking to me now, bro. You know.
I know, bro, but I want to talk to you personal, man. I mean, I like to be in contact with you. I'm quite concerned about you that you might have had a massive fight with Terry Flowers because he banned you on Midnight Vibes.
I banned him.
Wait. Terry Flowers is right there. Right there.
I know, but I'm concerned about you, KJ.
Me? I'm good. Yes. No, I'm good. Life is blessed, my brother. You know what? The only thing that's the most concerning thing in my life is Man United. That's a good thing because that means everything else.
They're so shit, mate. They're so shit. I mean, I spent £1,000 here to buy Man United kits. If at least I could have gave them the. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Keep going.
I'll be back. Somebody called me.
All right, mate. Take care. It's his boss saying get back to work. That's what it is. He's at work and he's doing his thing. But yeah, no, listen, he's funny. He's DM'd me about 30 times going, I need KJ's number. I need to make sure he's okay after you sacked him. And I'm like, where have you got this I sacked him thing from? Do you know what it is, bro? You know, some people, even though you were on camera, you said it and tweeted it saying it's literally my decision. I've got other things in my life. Some people still read that as beef. There's beef.
Yeah, beef. The only beef I know between me and Terry is the steak that he gives me, bro, because he's a good guy, fam. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, this guy missed his train back to Birmingham. I let him sleep in my bed.
Separately.
Separately. Separately. But still, like, you know what I mean?
But safe and everyone, I am okay. I am fine. There's no beef. Me and Terry are cool. Midnight Vibes ended because it needed to end because of life. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, life is blessed.
Absolutely. Oh my God. I haven't spoke to this man on a stream in age. I think we've got to add him in with us right now. Is this Indiana?
What's going on, people?
Hey,
Indiana, back from the dead. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Yeah, good, man. Good. Long time no speak.
Yeah, man. Listen, if Safe can hear me, KJ's just started a new business. Everyone needs to go and support that. Instead of spending £1,000 giving it to the Glazers, give it to KJ and he'll give you a phone number, man. Get it done. Come on.
Yeah. Well, there you go. It's Safe. If you want my number, become one of my clients and then we can chat. If not, then I'll keep it stepping, innit? Give me my money.
Boys, I want to get your opinion on this. the Haidara news feels real in terms of there are some kind of talks, everything else going on. The part of the story that worries me is this. They're not sure whether to let Ralf sign anybody because his players might not match the new manager's players. That, like, I don't know about you lot. That makes me scared.
Doesn't make any sense to me, really. I just think that so for me, Ralf being in the job as a manager is an incredible thing right now. It's great for Manchester United. He's got to deal with these players every day. He's got to go through a transfer window knowing how the club move. And he's the guy who's supposed to be appointing the next manager, right? So if it's a big signing, if you're talking like a big money move like Declan Rice, I think that's different. But we're not really talking big money, and we need more than one player eventually, right? Matic is going to leave. We've got midfielders that aren't good enough in that position. Pogba's likely to leave, depending on whether someone can buy him. We don't know what's going to go on with Donny. So we're going to need two players in that position. So buying a player of that sort of value and the wages we'll put him on, I don't think is a bad thing, because he's going to appoint a manager who's going to play that player anyway, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, listen, I hear you, and that's the bit for me that I've heard this a little bit. So Dean was saying this on Tuesday, how like things might not be as rosy as United fans would want it to be. There's at least two board members that didn't want him in any capacity to start with. There's now sort of talk of, you know, the manager. I just had this horrible gut feeling that a new manager's coming in and Ralph's leaving. Like, do you get what I mean? That's just this horrible gut feeling I've got. And it doesn't mean I'm not going to be happy with the new manager. We could bring in Ten Hag and I'm like, great. Maybe Ten Hag comes in and something miraculous happens, like Edwin comes in with him. And then you'd go, okay, I'm really happy with that as well. But I just get this horrible feeling that Ralph is pushing for certain things very hard, and the Glazers are going to bottle it and say, no, we'll just stick to what we've got, thanks. Especially if, and I'm not saying we will, but especially if we were to fluke or make top four, it would almost go, well, we don't need to make your changes because look, we made top four anyway. We'll just bring in a better coach and this squad will get us where we need to be. That's my fear with this, because when you look at that list of players we're looking at, I know McTominay's done well in recent games, but we know McTominay's levels are going to peter out. When you actually break it down, Haidara, Kamara, Zakaria, Ruben Neves, and Declan Rice are the five midfielders. Now, we're not going to get all five. We should buy four of them. Like, on a real level, Matic and Pogba are gone at the end of the season. I think we have, like, literally, you should we probably can't buy all four because two are going to get annoyed. But we should be buying three of those five minimum. That's what we need. If we bought three of those five and a new fullback, United are ready to go again. I know a lot of people say, what about a striker? But do you know what? You've got Ahmad, you've got Rashford, you've got Ronaldo for another year at least. You've got Greenwood that wants to go central. Fix that midfield. Haidara is available for about 40-odd million. You've got Zakaria, that's 6 million now, free of charge in the summer. You've got Ruben Neves that's touted at 40 million. So you suddenly only spent 80-odd million pounds. You've got three midfielders. That's what we need to do. Like, that's what this club needs. But you know what? They're not going to do it. Like, I would be, if we get one of those guys, I think the club will then stop and go, right, yeah, but we've got McTominay and Fred, they can plug a hole. Who's the shirt signing? Who's the guy that's going to bring in? And in some respects, I would rather sign Ruben Neves, Zakaria, and Haidara for 80 mil than Declan Rice on his own for 80 million. But I think the Glazers would prefer Declan Rice because he's a shirt signing deal, because he's hugely popular in the England setup. He's a big name in England, and he will generate attention, social media, the media. Do you get where I'm coming from? The media will be on him every day. You know how the media loves an English player? They'll be on it. Do you know what I mean? Especially one who's pale. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they love it.
No, I get what you're saying. No, honestly, though, we need more when it comes to the transfer window and the business that we do from this Man United board and scouting system. Like, we need to know to let go of certain players. Matic needs to let go of. Matic needs to be let go of. Lingard, we're turning down loan payments and full wages for Lingard. For what reason? Why are we turning that down? Let him go there. You know what I mean? Let him go there, and then he can leave for free. Flipping Martial, still here. I love the guy, but he's still here. He wants to go out and play football. You're turning down 50% wages covered. Why? We need to be better in the market, man. And coming this transfer window in the summer, I beg that we don't do a year extension for Matic and then a 2-year extension for Mata, and then all these things that Man United love to do. I hope we just take the hit, kind of like what Arsenal's done. Arsenal have done that. They've said, screw it, we're going to take the hits on all these players to reset the whole squad, to make up for the mistakes of the past. We're going to reset everything. So that's what Man United need to do. So Phil Jones,
KJ, we're like hoarders, man.
Yeah, we are.
We're like those hoarders, right? Who go out and pay for extra storage. They can't move things on. They just keep collecting them, and that's what's happening with players. We don't want it anymore. It's not any use to us in our lives, really. We just keep paying to keep it. The amount of wages is ridiculous. You're right about players like Martial, Cavani. Ronaldo's on like 400 grand a week, right? And keeps all of his image rights, I think. And will he be here next season if we don't make Champions League football? So Terry's probably right. It probably would be a Declan Rice. You lose Pogba, you lose Ronaldo. It's going to have to be a shirt signing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and that's the thing, and this is where rivals, and I mean it with respect to rivals, they don't get Man United. They say, but you just spent 80 million on a player. Why are you not happy? And it isn't that Declan Rice isn't brilliant, but for the same money, like you could fix the midfield issue. In my opinion, you could bring in 3 very good. Maybe none of them are as good as Declan Rice. Maybe that's true. But actually, our problem has been at times we've signed like a superstar for a certain position where that money would have probably been better spent spread across a couple of different players that have specialisms that you can then use. Like it's just, even you look at our midfield as an example. If you were to stick in a 4-3-3, Ruben Neves in the central area to like anchor and spread the ball out with Bruno on one side and Haidara on the other, that gives you almost everything you would want in a midfield. Great technical ability across the place. There's more athleticism in there than we've got right now because we're pretty stuck in the mud with certain players like Matic that we play. And even Pogba, he's got the strength, but he doesn't have speed. He's not a fast player. Does that make sense? Like
he's lost his pace over the years.
Yeah, well, I think Pogba's one of those players that once his legs get going, he's quick. Yeah. But he isn't quick over that first 5 yards. And I wouldn't
ain't there.
But that's because man's got long legs. Like people with long legs are generally. That's why Usain Bolt was a freak, because I remember Michael Johnson talking about him saying his legs. He's so tall and long, he shouldn't be as quick as he is. But he was. But like it was a bit. You look at most sprinters, they're not short men, but they're like the body's in a different kind of. What's the word I'm looking at? Like the legs are shorter than I know what I mean here. The legs are normally shorter, irrespective of your height. Anyway, but normally longer bodies. That's what Michael Johnson said. He knows what he's talking about. He's one of the best athletes ever. I don't. I'm not really au fait on athletics. But anyway, I digress. So I just look at it that way with us. Like horses for courses are needed, but we'll do it. We'll do it the wrong way round. We'll do it the wrong way round. We really will. I'm going to bring some more callers in a minute. I wanted to ask you boys as well. All this story now about Ronaldo sulking, players not liking him. Like, what's your feeling on that as United fans? You're muted if you're talking, Indiana. He might have left. Go on, Cage, you go.
I'm still here. I'm still here. I got something in a second.
Sorry.
Oh, hello. Wait. Put a camera on.
Whoa. It's not like that. It's not like that. Don't be doing that, Alex. Don't be doing that. You get me in trouble.
I see.
Okay. So for me with Ronaldo, I said it in the chat actually. A lot of fans have been talking over the last few seasons. We need a player like Roy Keane coming in. These players would be in therapy if a Roy Keane came in. The world is a lot softer now. Terry, we've spoken before about they would, KJ, they would. The world's a lot softer now. We spoke before about our kids, and I told you I had to go into my daughter's nursery. I had to speak to the manager and sign a form to allow them to say no to my child. I'm not allowed to say no in the nursery, and that's a huge problem. There's too much money involved. Social media is a problem. I think we live in a very safe world. I think a very safe environment, and it's a generation thing. They're miles apart. Ronaldo comes in. Can you imagine Ronaldo at that age, the players he's got in front of him, and Alex Ferguson as a manager. And these players have just been under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They've got huge marketing deals, social media. They can basically do what they want, right? It's a very different thing. And someone said it to me earlier. A lot of these players will, at this age, will turn around and hear advice from somebody and just go, "Yeah, I know," like they know it all. We just got to approach it differently in terms of how we get the best out of these players, because I think players now would easily down tools compared to 10, 15 years ago. But I don't see a problem with Ronaldo as such. I love that he's still got that drive at his age. I think it's just a generation problem. There's a gap.
There's a comment here that says, Terry, I swear our kids have been tricked into thinking it's okay to come last as long as you are competing. Look, I think there's a balance that's needed. So, you know, my martial arts center that I grew up in, you produce more world champions than any other club in the country, pound for pound. Some of the schools were huge. Pound for pound, it was the percentage of the kids that won medals at world championships, British and European, was huge. And his mantra was like, second place is losing. However, his balance was that he would be fine with you if you didn't win, as long as he knew that you, in the lead up to the tournaments, you're training at 100%, and that you gave it your all on the day, and you were prepared to be able to win. If somebody was just better than you, then somebody was better than you. If it was a case of, look, I'd watched you in the last 3 weeks leading up to the British tryouts, and you were messing around too much in training, you were late. You know, my old coach was a bit like Fergie, right? There was one time I skipped training and I said I wasn't very well. I was in the, you know, you go to the park on a Friday when you're about 14, 15 with a few little dumpy bottles of beer or whatever, right? He turned up, found me, dragged me home. And it was those things where he was like, well, your preparation wasn't right. Your attitude wasn't right. Therefore, I'm angry with you for not achieving. I think you have to get the balance right. So my son plays football now. And I always say to him, like, how'd you get on? Did you score? He plays up front. Did you win? I asked, did you have fun? But I want to get the balance right of, I want you to have fun, but I want you to want to win. All you've got to teach kids is how to handle losing, to harness that, and make themselves better or try better. Because the scary thing is, in the real world, there are losers. Every day you'll lose a business pitch, you'll lose a partner, you won't get a job that you go for. And if people are taught from the age of 0 until they're, say, 17, 18, 19, that everybody wins, you all get a participation medal, you are going to struggle in the real world. And I'm not a clinical psychologist to understand that, but I'm a human being. I'm a father, been around now 36 years, of experienced it. My losses are my biggest wins. They've taught me what I can do differently. And I've made a lot of mistakes. It's what can I learn from this, and how do I make things better? And I do worry about, and I think that is seeped into dressing rooms now. There is that element of weakness there, because everything gets patted on the head.
It's mad because on Twitter I saw a sports day podium. People outside the UK, we don't know what sports day is, where basically when the whole school does track and field for the day. But I saw a sports day podium with five podiums, bro. It went from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the guys on the one was like all the way up here. But I was like, this is ridiculous. This is why we're producing losers. But on a real note, I've been working with young people. I think one of the reasons why someone like Ronaldo coming in is seen as a massive thing. They don't want to come up to him. It's because I think people underestimate young people in terms of how they view themselves in the world. They already have that pressure on themselves. So they're growing up in a society where they're saying by the age of 21, you should have all the money, you should have all the cars, you should have all the women if you're a guy, and all the guys if you're a girl. So they already from an early age are having this sense of pressure upon them to become more and greater and grander than everything that's ever come before. That's why you've got kids out there on the streets now scared, and they end up stabbing each other, because they have this weight of pressure of, I need to be the biggest, I need to be the baddest. But deep down, they're still children. You know what I mean? Deep down, they're still scared, and they're still trying to learn what the world is. And I feel like we've let them down as a society because we have not given them a conducive, balanced environment where it is, yes, you know how to take criticism, but also you know how to know when it's okay to be a bit softer, to be vulnerable. That balance isn't there. And with these footballers now, we're telling them from the age of 17, 18, you need to be the guy. If you're not scoring 50 goals a season like Haaland or Mbappe, you're crap. So if they've already got that pressure in, and then having some, as great as he is, having an older person come to you and saying, you need to do this, you need to do that. For them, it's, bruv, I already know this. Like, stop chatting to me. And I personally believe that's what it is. There's a lot of internal pressure that they've already got that we may not even allow them to speak on, and we don't nurture them properly enough to get them into a place where they can handle criticism, because everything feels like an attack. So that's my view on it, because I love working with young people. They're great, and footballers are no different to the kids I've worked with from the local area. So yeah, man, we have to treat them. Of
course. It's everything's, it's polarization, and everything's either, like, it's weird. You get that polarization of people. It's either you're the best or you're just rubbish. If you're not the best, then you are just rubbish. And me and Lee Gunner had that conversation the other day where he was like, if you're not winning the league, it's a failure of a season. And I think, again, you have to go pound for pound. There's pound for pound here, because when I used to compete, there were some people that were just better than me. No matter how hard I trained, how fit I was, what I did, I was never going to be as good as them. So do you know what? If I was fighting on the match with one of the best fighters in the world, points fighting, for instance, and I came close, like, I didn't celebrate it as a win, but I was proud of my performance. And you can be proud of your performance and still lose. There's a difference. If I just went in, I'm not going to win, took a beating, lost by, like, there's a rule in points fighting where if the person you were fighting got a 10-point or more lead against you, the fight was instantly over. So, 3 headshots with 3 head kicks, and that's 9 points, right? So you had to be. So it was like, if I was going to lose, I wanted to lose by no more than 1 or 2 points, and whatever. But that attitude of going in, going, I'm going to try my best. On occasions, you could beat the very best, and those moments felt great. And that's what I want to see from our players. Is Jadon Sancho and Ronaldo ever going to be as good as Cristiano? No. But if they adopt his dedication and they push, they'll probably get to a slightly better level than they ever thought they could do. And they're both bloody very good, by the way. But a lot of people, it's like, oh, I hear you. I'm going to add some more callers in now. We've got Pav on the line now. What are you saying, Pav?
Oh, what's going on, everyone, man? Oh, sorry, there's an echo. Is that my line or is that someone else's?
No, that's sorted now. Go on, mate.
Oh, cool. Yeah, Man United, man. What are we doing? I thought we would have had some outgoings by now, but the only outgoing we've had is somebody who was already on fucking loan, and we reloaned him to Italy. What's going on? Like, why isn't Amadou Haidara on loan? Why hasn't he gone out? Why is Donny still here? Clearly, this guy is never going to play a game of football for us. What's he doing sitting on the bench? The guy looks so depressed. I've never seen a player look so sad. Just like, I can't believe what we've done to him. And mate, like, we need to bring in a midfielder, because I've said this numerous times. Every time Fred's on the ball or he's chasing the ball, this man's eating more grass than the cows on the farm. Like, there's not a time when this guy's never on the floor. He's too weak to play in that position. He's okay. He's going forward. He's got a couple of assists in the last few games. But as a DM, he's not it, and neither is Scott McTominay. And again, Scott McTominay's been doing all right going forward, get shots on target, scored a couple of goals, but they're not there to do that number 6 position. They're not good for it. And we've seen that the past few games where we're just leaking goals again. We need to. I did say there was probably no point bringing in any players in with the current situation, with all the players, with the fights, so-called fights, and people hating each other in the squad. But if we want to try aim for top 4, we do need a midfielder, and it's come to that we're not even got any outgoings, and I can't see any incomings coming in without them going out. So I don't know what's going on with this club. And you mentioned something about there was people on the board who didn't want Ralph in the first place. Clearly, that's because they feel threatened. If someone's coming in who may turn around the club, make changes, obviously there's going to be people on that board who are going to feel threatened by him. And then KJ obviously said about Lingard about going to Newcastle. I'll tell you why Lingard hasn't gone to Newcastle. Because this club is more worried about if Newcastle end up staying in the league because they will be threatened by them next season. Why would you send Lingard to Newcastle to help them stay up when they're going to be competing with us next year? Like, that's the reason why he will not go Newcastle, in my opinion. Bro, why are we going to send him there so they can stay up? It's better for us if they go down. Fuck that. Let them go down. I don't care if Lingard stays for the next 6 months. If he goes to another club, cool. Send him to West Ham. They'll probably finish above us anyway. But that's my opinion why he's not going Newcastle.
But the thing, that argument, then you've just destroyed your argument. Because if we're not giving them to Newcastle because they're going to compete against us next season, but we're going to give him to a competitor anyway, does it matter where he goes then? Because right now,
yeah, no, but if we
compete with
like,
Brighton, that's who we're competing with.
If we give him to West Ham, West Ham ain't like going to be competing with us like on expenditure and things like that on massive signings. But someone like Newcastle will, because if they stay up this season, next year they're going to go ham on massive signings. Like, you already look at what they're trying to pull in now when they're in the relegation zone. What are they going to be trying pulling in if they stay safe and be in the Premier League next season? They're going to try to go for them European spots next season. That's why I don't believe Lingard will end up at Newcastle. The club won't allow it.
So I hear your point, Pav. For me, it's a little more simplistic than that. They have tried over the last few years to be more commanding and more powerful in negotiations, but they are getting it wrong. I respect the fact that they want to be in some of the new deals, be more assertive. The reason it's hard to get rid of these two players is because we put them on ridiculously high money for players of their quality. Martial's very good, but he's not a £250,000 a week player. He is not. He's on more money, I believe, than Lewandowski. It would be cheaper for certain clubs to loan Lewandowski, like if he was available, than Anthony Martial. So United have got to fall on their sword for legacy mistakes. Again, an old job I did, we used to deal with legacy complaints, and it was about complaints about things we'd done wrong in the past. So we didn't have the bank I worked at, we no longer had those products, procedures, or operated in that way. Some of these things went back to before I was born. Like, that's how long ago these mistakes were made or things were done, behaviors of the bank. And we dealt with legacy complaints. You couldn't say no to people because your current operating systems and procedures had changed. It was like, well, we no longer sell that product that was dud from 45 years ago. Therefore, you can't have a claim here. It was right. We had to almost behave like it was still available retrospectively and give people reimbursements, apologies, whatever it may be thereafter. And that's what United have now got to do. United have got to sit back and go, right, we overpaid this player. We have got to take the brunt of that. We have got to be the ones who pay out or pay some of that money still to move him on. Because if Martial and Lingard stay, an element of toxicity is going to remain in the dressing room. And I'm not calling them bad people, but they're going to be upset. They're going to be annoyed. They're going to be frustrated sitting on the bench. And you just don't need that at work, you know? Look, we're going to add Mo into the conversation there as well. What are you saying, Mo?
Yeah, I mean, I've just listened to you guys' point of views, and yeah, I understand where everyone's coming from. Lingard, he should have just gone this summer to West Ham. I don't know why he stayed around to take pictures of Cristiano Ronaldo. That's why he stayed. He could have gone to West Ham. Football's a short career. He's 29. How many years are you going to play football for? All your life? You can't do it after you're 34, 35 anyway, because of the injuries. He's wasting his career. I don't know why he's there. Donny van der Beek, I ain't got a clue. I'm with Pav on that. I don't know why the hell he's still here. Like, why can't we get rid of him or give him on loan? It doesn't make sense. If we're not going to play the guy, just move him on. And the one thing about Ronaldo upset the young players. Well, these players are losing.
Can I speak on Donny?
Sorry?
Can I explain what I think is going on with Donny van der Beek?
Yeah,
so for me, it's two things. Firstly, with Donny van der Beek, I think one of the main reasons he's staying is because we weren't agreeing with him. We took that deal. What have you? What's going on with Pogba? I think that's part of the problem. I think he's staying this season because we don't know what's going on with Pogba and because they get a DM in. Now, Donny van der Beek's never going to play in this Manchester United side without a DM. He just leaves the side way too vulnerable. Me and Cage spoke about this. Let me say this a million times. With Donny van der Beek, he wants intelligent football around him who read the game the way he does and progress on the pitch, leaving holes in the midfield. So if you're going to play in that midfield, who's going to play with him? Matic with no legs, or a Fred that can't receive side on or pop it off to him? That's why he doesn't play. Well, I think we should keep Donny van de Beek. I don't. I do think he should move on, but I think that's why we are keeping him, because we're not sure what's going to go with Pogba. I bet you if Pogba stays, Donny.
Indiana, we're really struggling with your signal, mate. Sorry, mate, we're really struggling with your signal. We kind of heard what you were saying.
Yeah, I get where Indiana's coming from. Where, yeah, you need a CDM to play alongside Donny, but clearly it doesn't look like we're gonna get CDM anyway. So why can't we just start moving players across like Lingard? Just slowly move them on. Donny, look, I don't feel I've been waiting to watch Donny van de Beek play for a consistent game for 2 years now. We're run of games. It's never gonna happen. So just move them on slowly and start planning for the summer. Like,
did you not see what we've done with that keeper? What was his name? The Argentinian, forgot his name.
Sergio Romero.
Did you not see what we've done with Romero?
Stupid.
His wife was literally out on social media begging for the club to let him go. They could have got 5 or 6 or 7 million for him from Everton. They said no. They forced him to stay at the club. Didn't even let the guy train for months until his whole entourage stayed quiet. That's the sort of club we are. We don't let players leave. If players want to leave, we don't let them leave. The ones who don't want to leave, we try to force them out or make them take the pay cuts.
You know what?
This club's a joke.
Pav, I've been on Twitter Spaces, and I've chatted to people like a lot of fans from Barcelona, United, and their perception is that we're the worst big run club in the world. Like I spoke to,
we are.
It's the worst big run football club in the world. With what we saying about Fred, bro, Fred is a disaster. Like literally, he is like I don't understand. I don't think he's got a footballing brain, but he looks lost out there. Like the
thing is, he looks so good for when he plays for Brazil, but when I've watched South American football, it doesn't look that physical. Like in the Prem, this guy gets so bullied so much. He's on the floor half the time.
He's off the floor,
and he's always making a mistake. He's not suited for Premier League football. I believe if he went to another league, he'd be better there.
We need a DM ASAP. I'll take anybody, but we just need to get a body in just for that DM position, and then
I think on that, I would say this: I wouldn't just take anybody. This is where we need to be very careful, because without being disrespectful to Fred. And Fred, some fans have got to realize Fred will get more criticism than McTominay, because McTominay was free. He was an academy player. Fred cost £50 million.
Yeah.
And there's always expectation on that. It's just the way it is, right? And we know that McTominay's also hasn't been at the level. So it's not about that. But Fred's a prime example of buying someone that the manager didn't want. Free system, didn't think he was good enough, didn't want him, but it was have him or have no one. That's how we've ended up in this situation. And I do get your mantra of just bring someone in. I think what you really mean is let's bring someone who's actually good enough. Like this fan base. Yeah. I saw like a space the other day I was listening to, but they were splitting hairs over 3 amazing DMs, and I was like, but all three, in the end they were like, yeah, but all 3, any one of the 3 would be good. I'm like, then why the space? Like why the debate? Like they're all good enough. But listen,
do you know what the problem is, Terry? I think at the football club, we've got 5 different managers players. So we've got Mourinho players, Ferguson's players, some of them are there. We've got Van Gaal players, and now we've got Oli players, and now we've got the new manager's going to come in. Like we've got 5 managers players with 5 different systems. We don't have a system. The way I want Man United to be is like Bayern Munich. We're a run club. No matter which manager comes in there, we still play that same style of football. The way Bayern Munich is run, I want United to be run like that. The football's the same. Any manager comes in at Bayern Munich, you know what kind of football they're going to play.
Mate, I hear you completely. I do. Listen, everyone that has tuned in, I'm sorry we can't get any more callers on today. I've run out of time.
Can't bring back unsafe?
No, I'm out of time today.
No, you got the main callers on anyway. The main guys are on anyway.
Give him your number, KJ, bro. Man wants you to adopt him. You need to adopt him.
I'm going to do it. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, thank you. Please hit the like and share button before you go. 6 p.m. The Top 6 show is back. I think it's going to be quite a good one tonight. There's a lot of banter that's going to go around. So make sure you're tuning in. Until then, take care. Goodbye. God bless.